Happy Sunday. It is another live from myself and Helen. We're here to talk all things making money because tomorrow you might have heard there's some kind of webinar thing going on that we might have talked about an awful lot. But the real key thing that we want to get across on this video today is there'll be a lot of people that are maybe just sort of unsure if this is really a webinar for them. And I think when we talk about like business and online business mastery, I think it can make people a little bit scared that actually it's not for them. Yeah. And really the thing that we just want to get across with this video is making money online, if you understand how to, has never been easier. With the internet, with social media, with AI, you can literally make money daily from your spare room in your house. You don't even need to leave your house anymore. So it's just and it's a world that some people are really thriving in, and then it's a world that so many people just have no idea about, and it just goes over their head. So we just wanted to talk a little bit tonight about that subject to hopefully, if people have been on the fence about joining our webinar tomorrow and things like that, hopefully just give a little bit more reassurance that this could be something that really works for you. Like, don't get me wrong, we're always going to say, there is going to be an element of hard work. It's not going to be a case of just get rich quick or overnight success, which is something like we're really keen to make clear. I always say, like, no, like real wins and real success is a quick win. If it's real success, it does take time to do it correctly, but it is possible. And it's one of them where when you put the hard work in up front, you can work a lot less hard in a couple of years' time for the rest of your life, but still be making great money. And that's something I'm just going to pull up a few slides from tomorrow's webinar. You're getting a sneak peek. Now, obviously, we'll go into much more depth tomorrow. But we just want to give you a little overview of some of the key things to make sure people are really clear what it is we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I just want to give a shout out who is here right now. Let us know who's watching live. I can see Nicola, Jane. We've got Carol over on Instagram. I can see Jen and Leanne Miller over on Facebook. First and foremost, how is everybody? How is your week? How has it been? How has your weekend been? Are you raring to go for the weekend? And importantly, are you bloody signed up to the webinar tomorrow? Because it's tomorrow. Helen, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a crazy busy weekend, but it's been nice, and I'm just really excited for tomorrow now. And I want to say as well, if anyone, as we're talking and going through this, please ask questions. Like, that's why we're here. So if you've got any questions, if you're not sure, please ask, and we will do our best to answer them.
I think for me, it's a real shame the amount of people that are oblivious to the opportunities online. And I think a lot of people might see some of my stuff and go, oh my God, yeah, but he's like a bit of a performer and he's showing up all the time and he's on social media. I want to be clear, like, you don't have to do that. There is many other ways that you can still get results. Email marketing is something that can be a huge thing to build. That means you don't have to rely on social media so much. But also, I think the real clear thing I want people to understand is you will already have the skill sets, the work ethic, and the ability that you will be deploying every single day in various different ways. And what I teach is just how you can make more money from what you already do in a kind of roundabout way. I'm interested from you, Helen, like, as somebody who's been on this journey, like, and you've been around Success School for over 5 years now, and you've seen lots of different people, that we've worked with. What's kind of some of the things that you think when you started, you'd have maybe been like, oh, I don't know if it's for me or anything like that? What were some of the things that it's just interesting to me, because the more that I can understand where people might be today, where you were a few years ago, the more that we can maybe help.
I think loads of it, really. I think a lot of us don't believe that we have the ability to do that and to have the confidence to put ourselves out there, and we're frightened of failing. And I think, like, especially with the online world, and a lot of people have a lot of fear about being on camera and, like, talking to people and things like that. And I've seen it obviously in myself, but also within our community and your one-to-one clients over the years. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of people that have overcome that and have managed to do that. And I think like you said, I think the main thing is to realize that people think that, like, oh, I don't have the skill set, I don't have, a specialist kind of area that I could go down and start a business and make money. And I've seen people do it in just about everything over the years. And also, like, just the fact that we've all got stuff that we don't realize, we've all got an awful lot of untapped potential. I think that we might think, well, I've not got a trade, or I've not got it. And actually, like we've said, and I don't know like which slides you're going to show tonight, but what I know, one of the slides on the webinar actually shows a list of things that people could do. And it's an endless list that just scratches the surface of things that people can do, and actually skill sets that people have that they would never think, oh, well, I could capitalize on that and I could start a business from doing that, because it might just be something that they view very much as just a little bit of a hobby, a little bit of a passion. And so I think helping people to see that, and we've seen it time and time again within Success School, one of the really big standout ones is obviously Jen with her art. And, was just somebody that enjoyed art and enjoyed painting, and has now built a business where she's got 70,000 people in her Facebook group. And believe me, Jen is, a good friend of mine. I've got to know her over the years through Success School, and she felt exactly how we all feel at the start, where she had all the doubt, she had all the fear, and all she did was take action. She just decided to just believe in herself and just give it a try, and went in for it. And, she's been incredibly, incredibly successful. But she had all them same thoughts and feelings that we all have about, like, well, nobody's going to pay me for that. And I couldn't, I don't really know enough, and I'm not an expert. And wow, wow.
I always think as well, like, self-doubt and fear of judgment and all those kind of things, they're not exclusive to people that don't have success. Like, all the people you see being successful have all the same feelings, thoughts, imposter syndrome as we know it, and things like that. The only difference is, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Right? And those who tend to succeed, they have the fears. Nobody wants everyone to think you're a dick, right? Nobody wants to go, I'm going to go and create content on social media, and I really hope everybody finds me cringe. Like, nobody wants that. But you kind of have to just get to a place where you go, it's okay. Some people will think I'm cringe, whatever I do. And I'm not going to be held back by that fear anymore. And just those that have the courage to say, I'm not going to be held back by these fears, I'm going to take action anyway, give themselves a chance of really changing their life. So we just want to go through this. And I want to say, please, please, please use this opportunity. If anyone's got any questions or anything they want to just say, ask, whatever, please do put it in the chat. Hi, Lynn. I can see Lynn over on Facebook as well. Okay, I'm just going to show you a few slides from this now. So the thing that I really encourage people to do a bit of thinking about is making sure that if you are going to have an online business, or any business for that matter, that the business model and the strategy you're following actually aligns with your definition of success. What I've found a lot of people do is they just follow the shiny penny syndrome, and they go, oh my God, this person said they made millions, so I'll follow them. But actually, what it took to make those millions might be something you are totally out of alignment with. It's not you. It's not what you want to be doing. The strategy to get there doesn't align with your lifestyle and your wants and needs, and it's totally wrong. The other thing that I see with a lot of people is, quite often, because we're not taught it in school, because it's not a normal thing to start a business for it's not, I mean, getting a job, going to university, going to college, all those things are pretty standard. But starting your own business when you're a teenager or whatever is not the norm. And so for that reason, most of us, it just never is on our radar to think that we could start a business. So most of us, we go and get a job, or we might be self-employed, and we might be a personal trainer or a hairdresser or something like that. Now, when people do then decide, do you know what? Bugger it. I'm not working for my boss anymore. I am going to start my own business. What often happens, and I'm going to call it a mistake, even though it's exactly what I did initially, What we often do is we only know what we know. So we take that business model of, well, I'm a personal trainer working in this gym. What I could do is get a loan and start my own gym. Or I'm a hairdresser. I've been working in this salon. I can't stand my boss. She's a right bitch. So what I could do is start my own hair salon, or, do mobile hairdressing, whatever. Matt Zena, shout out to Matt. He went to acting classes and he went to a performing arts school. So what did he do? He set up his own acting school. For me, I was working as a performer in a tribute band. So what did I do? I set up a business managing tribute bands because we didn't like our manager. This is quite a common theme when people get into business. They go from a place of going, I'm sick of being told what to do. I don't like my manager. I see flaws in the way they're running the business. So I'm going to have the courage. I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to do it better. The problem is you're just going off what you already know. You're not going off what is actually possible. And as I learned with, tribute act management in the early years when I was 19 years old, starting that business, it was not a business that aligned with my definition of success. It was a business that meant I was working 7 days a week. The profit margins were very, very, very minimal. Like, we lost money. I struggled to break even for years. I was traveling all around the country, constantly getting home at 5 a.m. And this went on for years and years and years. Now, there are so many versions of this same story where people, whether they've gone and bought a gym and it's been a disaster, or they're working 7 days a week, or hairdressers or beauticians or whatever. And the first thing we've got to do is go, fair play for giving it a go, but is that really the business that aligns with your definition of success? And most people go, I've not really thought what my definition of success is. So that's the first point, is what is success to you? Like, what is that number? What would you be earning? How often would you work? How long would you work on the days that you do work? What sort of work would you like to be doing? Would you like to have to travel, hundreds of miles? Because I realized I didn't want to do that, but it was the business I'd created. So really understanding your definition of success and making sure the business that you're going to start or that you are currently in is aligned with that is imperative if you don't want to just make great money and get rich, but you want to make sure you're living a life with a certain level of freedom and flexibility and fulfillment. Like, for me, a big part of success is being fulfilled in how you live your life and being able to live your life on your own terms. Quite often people start a business because they're like, I don't want to work for the man and I want to have my own life choices and blah, 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 blah. And then actually they get into business and a few years in, they go, Jesus Christ, I have created a job that I would have never, ever, ever signed up for. And I'm getting paid less than minimum wage. This is really common. So if you're attending the webinar tomorrow, whether you're in business or you're not in business, but you're just thinking maybe a business would be right for me, this is why it's imperative you show up to the webinar. Because I'm starting you on the right foot based on the best part of 15 years fucking it up. Let's just call a spade. And seeing so many clients I work with that have also fucked it up. And that's why they've come to work with me, because they've gone, Matt, this ain't working. I'm burnt out. I'm stressed out. I'm exhausted. I'm working all hours every day. I don't have any time with my family or my friends. I'm putting on weight. I don't seem to ever have any money. If I am making good money, I'm scared to actually take a day off because the business is so reliant on me showing up. Tomorrow night, we go into this and we go, let's strip that back. Let's get clarity and let's figure out what is the business model and the strategy that actually aligns with your definition of success. And quite often it comes down to simplicity. Simplicity scales, complexity fails. For so many of us, we have businesses that are way too complex and there's too much going on. I can see over on Facebook, we've got Kelly Dodson. Hey, Kelly, good to see you here. Says completely agree. I can see there's lots of people joining on Insta as well. Shout out to Lynn over there, Women in Business. We've got Peter Cake saying, I always had a normal job. Business wasn't even in my vocabulary. And then I met you and now I have a business. Thank you for sharing that and well done as well. It's so good to see your... you going from strength to strength. Is there any other comments on the other platforms, Ellen, or anything you just want to add to what I've covered?
I can't see any other comments coming through. But yeah, I would just say that is huge, is, you know, creating something that aligns with what success would actually be to you. Because why else are you doing it? That's what you've got to really keep in mind. Why else would you do it? And I think a lot of people, actually, if you put them on the spot and said, what is your definition of success? They would actually struggle to know what it was. So I think it's worth some contemplation, really, to really get deep and think about that and what success would look like to you. And also, I think being realistic in terms of your life and your lifestyle, and, you know, for a lot of people, they have children, you know, families, things like that. But like you just said, you know, in theory, a business can be a good idea, but in practicality, is it going to work alongside your lifestyle, or is it going to be too difficult for you to manage the two? And I think that's something that people need to think about. But I also think this is where what you're teaching in terms of the online business is, it offers so much more flexibility for people, and it offers so much more accessibility to people.
Oh my God, absolutely. There's so many people that have literally, no, this is not an exaggeration, there's people that have literally made millions whilst bringing up kids like toddlers, whilst being single parents, like because of the online space. Now, going into getting clarity on your definition of success and what it really looks like for you, we're going to go into a bit more depth tomorrow on the webinar, but I just wanted to share you a little bit more. Again, we'll be covering this in more depth tomorrow. But for me, understanding what is available to us now, the best business model, if you're thinking of starting in 2025, it should tick these boxes. Now, again, depends on your definition of success. Your definition of success might be, do you know what, Matt? I'm a workaholic. I want to work all day, every day. I love high stress. I love high pressure. I love having to have a massive team and loads of risk. Like, if that's your definition of success, this won't be the best business model for you, right? Because I'm talking about simplicity. I'm talking about ease. I'm talking about it not being complex or high risk. So for me, the best business model for most people in 2025 would be a business model with low startup costs. It would require minimal time and effort, minimal overheads, minimal staff. It would be a business with no stock and therefore no storage space, no couriers. It should have a maximum profit margin, right? Surely that's an obvious one. So many people are opening restaurants where there's like minimal profit margin and really difficult business models and really uncertain business models. It should be a business that heavily leverages the advantages and the speed of the internet and artificial intelligence. It should have recurring and passive income, which are things that I'll cover in depth. It should be something that you can scale, but be sustainable. It should be recession and pandemic proof. And it should be of interest to investors / be something that would be relatively easy to sell. Now, I'm just going to get rid of us there. Hopefully people can still hear me. I've just put there, not setting up restaurants, farm shops, corner shops. These are all business models that have high overheads, require staff, and have minimal profit margins. So again, you can start a restaurant if you want, but it doesn't tick many of these boxes, right? Low startup costs, minimal time and effort, nope. Doesn't have many overheads or staff, nope. Like, this is the thing you've got to get clear on. Does the business you're thinking of starting, or is the business you're currently in, ticking these boxes? Because in 2025, unless you want loads of risk and stress and overheads and uncertainty, like, you shouldn't be doing any of those businesses. It makes no sense now with what we have available to us online, which is why I'm passionate about helping people start online businesses. Now, I touched upon there passive income and recurring income. This is the main thing that I cover. And with the strategy that I teach to business owners, again, I don't just work with people starting out in business. I help people that are already in business, but they're just feeling burnt out. They're constantly trading time for money. They may be doing a lot of one-to-one work with clients and service-based businesses, things like that. And they're far from having passive or recurring income. But for some people, just to run through it, what actually does that mean? Passive income is basically where there's no longer any active input. In other words, you design something, you create something once, and once it's been created and you've sold it once, you can keep selling it time and time and time again, year after year after year, where you no longer have to do anything. That product is done, finished. So this can be things like digital products such as courses, guides, or ebooks. Now, passive income is basically where you put a lot of work, hard work into it up front to make it the best you can possibly make it. For example, writing a book and really spending maybe a year writing that book and making it the best book you can. Or a course, filming a course, creating a course where, again, you put everything into it. Once it's ready, like there's authors out there now that are still getting money from new sales today for books they wrote 30 years ago. That's what passive income is. Then there's recurring income. Now, this is where it's regular income every single month. So this is things like a subscription model, like we all pay for Netflix and things like that, where every single month, Netflix has millions of customers worldwide that pay their 15 quid a month, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. And that is every month. So Netflix gets that new payment for you month after month after month. This is where you can create things like memberships. And I've put there where you don't even need to be the expert. And this is the beauty of, just take, for example, Success School, which is my membership. Yes, I help people with mindset, self-development, and business. But Success School is more than that. It's also about your physical health. It's about your mental health. It's about nutrition and training and fitness and strength. So from time to time, we bring in guest experts that take the session. We also do masterminds, which are where the whole community comes together and does a session where I'm not even present. So this is the beauty of having a membership. You can create something. I always think of Tony Robbins, who wrote the book, Money Master the Game. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's probably sold millions of copies worldwide. Money Master the Game is not Tony Robbins being a money expert. It's Tony Robbins interviewing the most wealthiest people in the world and putting it into a book, what they all said. That's where he's the curator of the information. Now, you could do that with a membership, where if you just got a passion about a subject, your membership could be, I'm the interviewer and I'm on this, passion project to learn from the best minds in the world or whatever. And if you want to join me every week while I interview these people live on Zoom and we do a Q&A where you can ask questions and meet that guest expert, whatever. I'm just making something up off the top of my head, but it's £10 a month, whatever. And then you get 30 people, 50 people, 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people paying £10 a month. That is where you can have that recurring income where it's almost semi-passive income. You're not having to work really, really hard at it, which this is the stuff that I've done and this is the stuff that I teach. Is there anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, I think this is really important for people to kind of get to know and to wrap their head around, because I think especially if you've been somebody that's been in employment, it's not really something that ever really crosses your mind that you could have that kind of passive income and how it can be done. So I think that's huge for people to learn. And also, like you said, I think it's far kind of more simple than we realise in terms of, like you said, with a membership where actually one Zoom call a week, and whether it's you delivering it or whether it's a guest expert or whatever, it will be at least semi-passive, if not entirely passive, which, is unbelievable, really. So yeah, I think for me, this kind of stuff was alien to me because I was always in employment. So I think just learning about this and then starting to think about, well, what services could you offer that you could then have recurring income from and also passive income from. Just game changing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I want to say to people as well, because a question that could come up is, yeah, but if you've only got 20 people paying a tenner a month or whatever, obviously our membership is just short of £20 a month. And then you're getting guest experts to come in. Aren't you going to have to pay them half your profit, or, how are you going to make a profit? I just want to be clear. I first set up my membership in 2019. I actually then paused it for a year or so and then brought it back. But it was first up and running in 2019, and Helen was a member of that membership way back then.
Yeah.
And I think back then we were 20 quid a month.
Yeah.
We've had multiple guest speakers. We usually have a few a month. I have never, ever, ever paid a penny to any guest speaker. And we've had months where I've been away touring and doing other stuff, and I've never paid for, but there's the membership's continued, and we've had speakers come. Because if you can create a brand, which again is all the stuff that I teach, and if you can get good at, finding your tribe and getting them enthusiastic about coming and being a part of your membership. By the way, you don't need a massive audience, but you can build a community of the right people that want to be there. That is then valuable to those guest speakers. If they get to speak in front of 30, 40, 50 people and, showcase what they do and what they're about, that is valuable to them. And so it's a win-win in that you both get something of value, or should I say there's 3 wins. The guest expert gets to speak in front of a new audience. The person running the membership has a great guest to deliver the content, and the people paying for the membership get access to a great guest speaker where they can learn from them, they can ask questions with them, and they're not having to pay their one-to-one fees and things like that. So there are many ways that you can do this, that it doesn't have to be expensive to do, but very easily can start to make you good money. So I just wanted to share that for people that are, maybe like got, and then please do ask questions if you've got any questions. So what is the best business model in my opinion? For me, it's a business in the online education space. Now, don't get stressed out. You might be like, I'm not a teacher and things like this. Again, what we talk about is creating an online business where you simply take your current knowledge, what you know already, what you currently may be passionate about or have some kind of interest in, and your current skill sets, and you simply package them in a way that you can create both passive and recurring income. For example, you create things like ebooks, courses, workshops, and memberships. Now, please don't get overwhelmed with this, because to make great money online, you only need to be a step or two ahead of the people you're teaching and have the ability to keep on learning, right? And then you just need to find who are the people that are at that level. So coming back to who Helen mentioned earlier, Jen has been a really big success story for us in terms of who's been through my program, Online Business Mastery. She was on this webinar last year, I think it was only 6 months ago we did the last webinar. She joined Online Business Mastery. She has got her business, which is teaching art. But because she learned this stuff, she decided, I'm going to teach acrylic art to beginners, people that have never painted in their life. They're absolute newbies. But there's the bit that I've put there in brackets, have the ability to keep on learning. So Jen does she does 2 things. On one hand, she's teaching the beginners. And on another hand, she's constantly upskilling and learning more and becoming better as a painter herself and as an artist herself. What does that mean? She can, over time, start to expand on what she can offer within that business. But the worst thing that you can do is wait to feel you're enough of an expert or you're ready. You don't need to do that. You already have skill sets. Most of you will be using those skill sets in various ways in a job or, self-employed or whatever, but maybe absolutely slogging your ass for, when all's said and done, probably not much above minimum wage, a lot of people. Utilizing the online world and packaging things slightly different could mean you can literally double, quadruple, and so on the income just by packaging it slightly different. Now, having a business in the online education space is literally one of the simplest and the quickest ways to create passive, semi-passive, and recurring income. And I just wanted to share this. Again, this is something we'll be talking in more depth about tomorrow. And please don't get overwhelmed with this, because we will go into a lot more depth tomorrow. This is just a little bit of a taster, and we will really guide you through it on the webinar. But the online education space, a lot of people might be thinking, oh, people are sick of courses now and people think it's all a scam. And there's a lot of people with negative attitudes that are just totally out of the loop of reality. So it's been estimated that the online education space has been valued at around about $1 billion with a B dollars per day. every day there's over $1 billion being transacted with people buying online courses. Now, this just shows you the stats. It says here, the global online education market size was evaluated at 217 billion in 2022, slated to hit 475 billion by the end of 2030. So in just 5 years' time, it's going to have gone up to nearly 500 billion a year, this industry. It's not getting smaller. Like, it is growing and growing. Why? Because the internet's getting better and better, AI is getting better and better, social media, it's all got, like, more people are, like, the younger generation are starting their lives out using social media and online. And people, whether you like it or not, it's just a fact, people want the path of least resistance. People want the easiest way of doing things. I was thinking the other day about, back in 2018, when I had a therapist. I was going through a bit of a shit time, and I thought, you know what? I heard a lot of people speak about you should go to therapy. And I had to go on Google to try and find one in my local area. It's probably 2017, something like that. Find one in my local area. I found one, and then back and forth on message, and got it booked in the first session. And I always remember I went to a few sessions, and it's like you'd have to, on an evening, you'd have to eat your food as quickly as possible. You think, oh God, like, I've got to get to the therapist, throw my food down me, get dressed, get out, get in my car, drive 15, 20 minutes to the therapist. It was at their home where I used to go. She'd let me in, get me a cup of tea. Then we'd go upstairs after having a bit of a chit chat. We'd go into the office. And then I've got to drive 15, 20 minutes home. Guess what? If I want a therapist session now, I press a button on my laptop and I start the session. Like, that is where the world's going, whether you like it or not. People want ease, people want speed. And rather than having to go to university for 3 years or do these courses that have cost us 20, 30 grand, more and more as we now progress into the future, people are getting smarter, people are getting quicker, people are getting wiser. They turn into online learning. This is what creates a massive opportunity. If you want to learn how to be able to provide something of value in the online space, you can capitalize on this and have a piece or a slice of this industry. Anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, I think as well as that, like, we've kind of not even, we've skimmed over the fact that sometimes it doesn't even have to be teaching anything, because there's an awful lot of room around community as well, in terms of memberships and things like that, where if you're going down the membership path, I'm a member of a membership that is basically like a society, where the person that owns that community brings a community of like-minded people together who want to share and grow together, but she isn't actually coaching anything at all. She's curating. And so that's another thing that, happens a lot. And also, I think a fantastic example that you gave the other day that I'd actually completely forgotten about. And then when you said it, I was like, wow, yeah. It was about when Lisa did a speech at your event, and she was talking about the lady that made the guide for Disney. I'll let you explain it because I'll probably get the story wrong. But again, that is, will be pretty much passive income for that person now, where all she has done is shared experience. She's literally shared experience. So there's definitely other angles of it other than, obviously for some people, if they want to coach people through things like Jen with the painting, etc., obviously that works. But for other people, they're definitely building either products or services like guides or communities around experience and knowledge, or curating that. Yeah. So I just wanted to
touch a great point. Such a great point. Yeah. So for those, most people in my audience are also familiar with Lisa Johnson, who I'm a massive fan of. I've had the pleasure of, learning from her. She's really helped me a lot as a business strategist. She spoke at our event in Leeds last year. She was absolute standout speaker, wasn't she? And people people was like, oh my God, she is amazing. And what Helen's referring to there is she spoke about the first time she kind of looked into what passive income was, is I think she had twins that I think were under the age of 2 or something at the time. And they were going to Disneyland. And obviously that, for a young parent with, young children can be quite overwhelming. Like, how do we get the most out of the experience? What's right for 2-year-olds versus the 7-year-olds? Like, what do we need to avoid? What do we need to go to? And she said there was a guide that was literally exactly that. It was, how to navigate Disneyland with children under 2 or whatever. And she spoke about how she actually rang this lady, because I think the guide was, I don't know the story. We'll have to get Lisa back on the podcast.
Yeah, gotta tell the story because we keep butchering it.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa. But it was something along the lines of 20 quid or a 30 quid guide or whatever. And she rang her up, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but basically this lady was making thousands of pounds every single monthly, that is, from this one guide that every year she just updates slightly, because obviously the theme park will update and have some changes. I think she goes there every year anyway. And it was generating thousands of pounds a month just from creating a guide on something as simple as that. This is what's happening, guys. This is lit, and that was years ago. Like, it's only becoming, as this graph shows, like more and more popular. So I just wanted to then kind of give you this slide as well, which is, people get super overwhelmed. They go, I don't know what my thing is. Like, if you're feeling like that, don't worry. We're going to go into that into depth tomorrow night. We have got you on this. Just take it one step at a time. Do not get in your own head about it, because things take time. But business is simple. And all it is ultimately about solving problems for people. Now, that's not major problems. It's not like life-shattering problems necessarily. Jen solves a problem. If somebody doesn't know how to paint, but they want to, Jen can solve that problem. She teaches them. So when you think about it as solving problems, it doesn't all need to be dramatic and really big problems. But at the heart of it, business is simply about solving problems for people. So remember what I said earlier, simplicity scales, complexity fails. If you can just come back to what is one specific problem that a specific type of person would want to have solved, you can have a business. It really is simple. The thing that makes it difficult for people predominantly is emotion. It's fear of judgment. It's self-doubt. It's demotivation when you're not getting results immediately. It's impatience. It's all these human emotions that cause problems, not business itself. Business is pretty simple. So we just wanted to share that with you guys. It's just a little bit of a taster of what like I say, we'll be going into way more depth tomorrow. It's a 90-minute webinar plus Q&A. Probably I would leave about 2 hours in your diary from 7 p.m. So we should be done and dusted before 9 o'clock, but it might go up to 9 if we run over slightly. It's completely free. As I'm sure everybody in the world knows by now, we are going to also be launching my main signature paid program. That is Online Business Mastery. That is a big in-depth program with months and months of support. In actual fact, over a year's worth of support, but there's no obligations to buy. This is literally an opportunity to come along free of charge, learn, ask questions, take notes, just soak up as much information as you can to really help you wherever you're at on your journey. If you're just starting to think about it, if you're just starting to open your mind to making money online, this webinar is for you. If you've started a business, but you're finding it really tough, this webinar is for you. If you've been in business for a while, but you're at that point where you feel capped and you don't know how to scale, this webinar is for you. And if you've maybe had a bit more of a bricks and mortar traditional type of business, but right now with the changes in the expenses and the business rates and national insurance and all these things with your potentially your in-person business where you have staff and overheads, and you're starting to think, I don't know if I can survive in this current climate, this webinar is for you. I'm all about making business simple, achievable, and making sure that you've got the support to make it happen. Like I say, it's completely free tomorrow night, 7 p.m. If you haven't already registered, drop me a DM and I'll send you the link to get you registered. If you have, make sure you're there. Please join the waiting room early if you can. I really do ask that of you. Please, if you can get in about 5/10 minutes before 7. What that means is I can just crack on at 7 o'clock. I'm not going to let people in left, right, and center. Also, Zoom does cap how many people that I'm allowed in. And we have had over now 800 people sign up. So to make sure that you get in, there's no problems, and to make my life a bit easier, if you can get there early, we'd really, really appreciate it. You'll just be in a waiting room, and then bang on at 7 o'clock, we'll let you all in, and we shall start. Helen, anything you'd want to add just before we finish?
No, just super excited to see everybody there tomorrow. And obviously, if anyone's any questions or anything like that, either drop them in the comments now, or obviously you can DM Matt or DM me. It's no problem at all. You know, we're more than willing to speak to you. But we're just really excited to see everyone. I'm really excited to see what people take away from this and what they can kind of learn from it, because I just know, I mean, obviously I've seen this presentation. I know it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I know that it's really going to get people thinking and get people excited about the possibilities of what they could do. So yeah, just so looking forward to seeing everybody there. And thank you to everybody for being here tonight as well and joining us tonight.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, like I say, we will be opening the doors to my main signature program. This is Online Business Mastery. This is not only an in-depth course, but there's also 18 months of live coaching as well, where you get that one-to-one support within a group capacity, where you can ask questions on things you are struggling with and where you need guidance, and you've got the community support there. And tomorrow night is the webinar you need to be on if you want to be joining us for the 2025 intake. I only do this once a year. So if you're not there, you will miss out on the opportunity. And I won't even be launching this again for another whole year. So please do make sure, if you're serious about making money online, if you're serious about having a business that is aligned with your definition of success and not just a business that keeps you busy and stressed and overwhelmed and overworked and underpaid, if you really want this year to be the year that you make a change, you really want to be on this program, Online Business Mastery. So tomorrow night is the night where you get the opportunity to buy in and to join this year's intake and work with us over the next 18 months. So just make sure you are there if that is something. I know there's loads of people already saying they cannot wait. They're definitely signing up this year. They've seen the progress of last year's intake and they feel like they really missed out. So I know we've got great people signing up.
Yeah, and just to point out as well, you are limited in the number of people that you can allow to sign up to Online Business Mastery as well, aren't you? Because obviously, Matt offers this Zoom element where he does do the Q&A sessions where you get more one-to-one support. There's a WhatsApp group. You can't have hundreds and hundreds of people in there and give them, what he needs to give them. So it's capped. Is it 50 that it's capped?
Yeah. Just to say, absolutely, yeah, great point. Just so people are aware of this. So we have had over 800 people sign up. We actually think it's nearer 900 because there's a few that haven't come through, but Dan's working on that in the morning. So it will probably be, by the webinar, potentially nearly 1,000 people that have registered to join this webinar. We may have, I'm going to estimate 200 to 300 will probably show up live, and then maybe 50, 60 will, want to watch a replay. We are only allowing 50 to actually come on board with the paid program. So you really want to be there live tomorrow, because I don't know what's going to happen, but potentially we'll be sold out immediately. You don't know, but it's a really good point what Helen Rose, this is not just like a scarcity tactic to get everybody to buy or push them into buying. No, like I want to cap it at 50 so that I know we've got business owners we're working with for a year and a half, where every month they join us on these live Zoom sessions, and we go for a couple of hours, and everybody, if they want to, has the opportunity to speak personally with me, and everybody has the opportunity to get one-to-one feedback and things like that. So if, like you said, Helen, excuse me, like you said, we can't have 200 people on it. So you really need to be there tomorrow live, ready to get involved if you want to join us this year for Online Business Mastery. Right. Tomorrow is the big day. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. We've put so much time, energy, and effort into making this the best webinar we possibly can. And I want to be clear. Yes, there's that opportunity for just 50 of you tomorrow night to join us on the paid program. Irrespective, the stuff that I teach tomorrow, free of charge. If you follow it, if you implement it, you can absolutely make money off the back of what I'm teaching tomorrow, irrespective of joining us. I know that because people have done it and people have told me. Yeah. So please don't think, I know some of you will have been on webinars, I have as well, where the person running the webinar talks for maybe 10 minutes about their life story. They then give 5-10 minutes of pretend value, which is just like slight ideas of what you might do, but don't give you anything substantial, and then spends an hour just selling their course. When I say it's a 90-minute free webinar, it's more or less a good nearly an hour and a half of just me giving, and then about 15 minutes where I'll talk about online business mastery, and then I'll do Q&A, and the Q&A will go on as long as you guys want to ask questions, basically. So that's why I say maybe allow about 2 hours. I can see on Insta, I'm signing up tomorrow night, says Carol, amazing. Nicola says, I cannot wait for the webinar. Lynn says, will the 50 from the last one be renewing? So we know what we've done is we've offered a deal for everybody that joined last year. If they've got the course and they're working through the course, but we offer
lifetime access to that as well, haven't they? It's not like you lose access to it. It's
correct.
Lifetime access to the online course.
Absolutely, yeah. They have lifetime access to the course. But obviously a big part of why this is quite different to most courses is we offer that live coaching element and community element where you're around other business owners and other people going through the program, other people you can collaborate with and connect with and help each other, which is really valuable. So what we've said to last year's intake is if they want to join this new intake and continue the live coaching element and also be a part of the new community with new business owners and keep this going for longer, they can, obviously at a heavily discounted rate because they've already paid for the course. So far we've had 5 people actually buy already to say that they are in for this year's intake. And yes, that will be part of that number of like the total that we allow in the overall, like the overall total will be 50 people, including anybody that wants to buy in from last year's intake. So you really do need to be there live tomorrow night. Last night, this month, next year, 20 years ago, who knows? just be there at some time.
Yeah, time machine.
Get your time machines out. I can see Nicola has put, I'm doing the course and the live and community element is crucial to success. Yeah. It's huge, isn't it? It really does make the difference. And what I teach people to do is what I call an irresistible / no-brainer offer. And that's kind of what that is. Like literally, I'm giving you what I teach you to do, which is I've recognized the things that stop people succeeding or finishing a course. And it's because a lot of these courses, usually for a start, they're thousands of pounds. You pay your thousands of pounds, you get access to the course, and then it's predominantly all self-study. Or if there is a live element, it might be, a couple of months or whatever. That doesn't get results for people. Like they need accountability, they need support, they need community, and they need a decent time frame when they have access to that, which is why we're doing stuff quite different. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, Lynn saying, okay, piece of cake says, so exciting. I'm so excited. I can't wait because we just know what we teach works. We know the format in which we're doing it gets people results. And that is such a beautiful thing to be just like, if people get involved with this, we know it's going to change their life. And that goes for the free webinar as well. Like there's obviously, it's only a one-off session. It's very different to having 18 months of support. You can still get a lot out of, and I genuinely mean that, you can still get loads out of just attending tomorrow night. So yeah, thank you so much. Anything else?
Natalie Dobie there as well saying she's looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Is that over on one of the other platforms?
Facebook, I think it says. Don't know.
Fab. Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. Like I say, there's probably going to be in the region of, I reckon, 200 probably that show up live. You never can be certain.
You're shot now with all these 800 turn up at you. You're like, probably about 200 will show up.
And I'm like, shit, we need to increase the capacity.
From past experience, we know, don't we, that like you'll get so many that sign up and sign up to come, but the actual people that turn up on the night tends to be significantly less. So that's why. I did want to add something then. I can't remember what I was going to say. Don't know. It's gone. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Do you know what I love? I love seeing what everybody comes up with. I'm excited to see what this group of intake are going to come along and decide that they want to do and want to pursue and see that process, like how they go along and
Totally agree. Yeah. It is, because there'll be people right now have no idea what their business is going to be. And potentially by the end of tomorrow night, they'll know.
Yeah.
Or certainly, you know, those that sign up to the course, when they've done the first module, they'll definitely know. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
It's seeing things come to life, isn't it? Seeing it's just an idea being born. I love it. But I am a creative. I love the creative side of it. It excites me.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I really hope you found this has just given you a little bit more clarity, maybe just got you a little bit more, I don't know, just confident that there could be something in this for you. Like I say, the webinar, the one big webinar of the year is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time. It's going to be about 90 minutes to 2 hours in total. We're going to do Q&A. And of course, we are going to be talking about the main program that I launch just once a year, Online Business Mastery. If you've not registered, you must be registered. Drop me a DM now if you want me to send you the link so you can register. And once you are registered, you'll be sent the Zoom link. Make sure you join that link if you can before 7 o'clock, around about 5 to 7, 10 to 7, something like that. Join the waiting room, and then at 7 o'clock we can start on time and we'll dive straight into the content. Guys, we'll see you there tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And have a good night's sleep, because you're going to need it. And yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.